Okay.
We have an escapee from an insane asylum.
I made a grilled cheese sandwich with mayonnaise. Please don't issue a warrant.
That's a crime. That's Donald.
Donald Westerdale, come on up.
We gotta get this coffee bell.
Wow. We give you a bunch of candy or what?
I see what happens to candy thieves. Ramona. Melissa.
Victoria.
There
Your Honor.
Nice to
My
meet you.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Thanks for coming to say hello.
I'm on recon for court fights tomorrow, of course.
Great.
So, okay.
Well, we're always happy to have you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to American Courts Live. We've got Allie from Austin on. Say hi to everybody, Allie.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to be there tomorrow with Donald and Kathy. We will be live in Judge Fleischer's court tomorrow morning. I'm going to leave here at like 5 in the morning to get there. So should be fun. Super excited.
Hey, Donald. Donald made it. Donald, you're on the screen. You're on the screen, bud.
We're just watching you talk about grilled cheese with mayo, which is amazing, by the way. I have made it several times, and it's not bad. I'm just saying, but we can't talk about that.
All right, we're gonna jump into Donald and the judge having a conversation. It was good and heartwarming. Thank you, Donald, for going out there and seeing the judge today. We're gonna jump back into that.
No.
Bigger than molasses. You're going to bite, but it's too warm to rise.
You know, early morning rides are the best. You know, when I exercise, I get up 6 in the morning and then it's, 65, 70 degrees, and it's okay if you can get up that early. I don't know if you can get up that early.
Oh, I'm up 4:30.
Well, then early morning rides are the best. It's the best time to ride. There's no sun, there's no humidity. Well, it's low, but it's a great riding time.
I usually wear an English riding hat, but since I'm in Texas, they might think something different than me. So
Now it's just it's obsessive and it's bad. Just don't, because I mean.
Not mine, but no. Is that you? Somebody's phone is going on.
Well, it's nice seeing you folks.
Look, we have some more too. You want some more?
I know. I see you giving out to the kids all the time. Thank you, sir.
How about some Starburst?
No,
I need to go back and get some more.
But appreciate it very, very much. So good to see you.
So wait, you live in Michigan now?
Yes. I've been to several court crawls with Colin through the court system.
Have you been and have you seen Simpson?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shook his hand, took a picture with Eliza Wish so I've been listening to the buff lift. Mr. Allen. The bailiff.
Okay. It's always a call from Mr. Allen. When he says Mr. Allen, it's not.
Yeah, it's not good.
Nothing good is
When
happening.
he steps behind you, you might as well just go ahead and give it up. But he knows what you've got today.
We have one of those too.
Yeah.
Actually, several. Yeah.
You get here, run at me with your hands in your pocket.
Steven's not even here today.
Yeah, he's not here today. But we'll get somebody to tase you.
Oh.
You're welcome.
How long are you going to be here?
Just until the morning of the 16th, and I drive on back. And I'll probably get Middleton on the way back in.
Really?
I stopped in there once. He was on vacation, unfortunately, so I went up to the felony Florida guy in domestic essay that let the violent both sideways in my neck for about 4 or 5 hours. I don't know how you compartmentalize somebody's to be honest with you. Some of them all of us. I mean, you can see it in the chat. This is a tear streaming down the face.
No,
I'm glad that you're here and putting.
Hopefully here for a long time.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask.
About the what?
Did you get it done?
A child, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he's not real baby anymore at 2.
Yes, he is. That's a baby.
Well, okay, in a week he'll be 3.
That's a baby.
He's going to be a big.
He's just, I don't think I've ever met someone so hard-headed. He's me.
I have.
He's me. He's never.
I have one of those. His name is Ray Ray.
So when the mind is made up on a certain thing,
Oh, yeah.
No changing whatsoever. Doesn't matter what you do, what you offer. I mean, I can offer candy, which I do all the time, and it doesn't matter. It's still in there.
It's like you're talking about yourself.
It's me. I told you. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I
So
just get flown around here. I really want to very fast.
hopefully he's a leader.
Yeah,
He will be.
yep, with you guys, no.
Do you mind if I'm quiet and sit in your court for a
Hey,
while?
can you stand behind the bar and say hi to Lena's? She's saying,
Wait,
Donald,
Can I take a picture?
right there. Yeah, because the camera's perfect.
Hi, Lenas, Kathy, Fozzie, CJ, et al. Love you. Great to be here. These folks are fabulous. They even gave me candy.
Imagine that.
We see jury selection tomorrow.
Is that what it's on the-
Yeah, we're supposed to have a trial tomorrow. A lot of times it caves, but I mean, if you're here, stop by, hang out.
Picking up Kathy from about 8:45, and then it'll take us an hour to get to 45 miles to get here from the airport. Then we'll stop on.
So she's really coming.
Yes.
And I am her chauffeur for the day.
I mean, should I YouTube tomorrow?
I think this part's
How
funny
about
right
now?
here. I think this part's funny. I think the judge just realized Kathy was coming, that she was actually going to come.
That's so funny.
And so
He might have forgot. He had the long weekend, or I mean, not the long weekend, but the weekend and everything. So it might have just slipped his mind.
Oh, he does the same thing as me. I can ask my wife a question and, just really needing an answer. And then 5 minutes later, ask her, hey, what happened to that answer? And she's like, I told you as soon as you asked me. And
I think husbands are genetically predisposed to doing that.
oh, absolutely. I've never had a husband, but I can assume so. All right.
Well, when you do, you'll understand.
Absolutely. We're going to go back into this. Donald had a good conversation. He had a good conversation about education. Did you happen to miss it, Allie? I know you had to get some sleep.
Yeah, I did. I was sleeping, so it was a nice. My husband was out of town all weekends, and this is the first time we've been apart that long, which was like all of 2.5 days. In 10 years, we've been together, so it was weird. So I didn't sleep very much. I don't sleep very much anyways. So, but yeah, I slept this morning. I did not watch, and I'll be in court tomorrow morning, so I will be there live and in person. So. And he'll be back up running. His stream is back up and running tomorrow. For anybody who didn't know that, he will be back and have his regular stream up and running and chat and everything. So that's good news too.
Okay. Yeah. The judge is back. Judge is back on tomorrow.
You're live streaming.
And Colin's carrying you too, so. I was watching you this morning on Colin, but I gotta get over there and harass those people.
Think about it.
Sure, Colin.
No worries.
That's so amazing that she's coming.
I know.
No,
How
she-
Me
excited.
too.
She's a good gal too, so everybody just adores her. She's got the giggle and she touches.
Yeah. I know. I listen to it every day. Give me a second, Donald. Are we done?
So everyone out there, nobody said anything to Donald about wearing shorts and wearing a hat. My goodness. Now I don't mind at all. I also don't see anything whenever other people wear shorts and hats too. I can only imagine the people that have to go to court during work and then, they have to run in and, oh no, they forgot to wear, they're wearing shorts. It's Texas. Everyone wears shorts in Texas. And I'm sure Donald had a busy morning. So, but no, I think Donald looked great. I think he did good. And where can we see Fleischer's live stream? Or I'm assuming, KL, you're asking about Fleischer. Tomorrow morning on Finding Justice with Judge Fleischer, you can go to his channel and you can see his live stream Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. Central Time until the docket's ending. And it's normally around 1 or 2, maybe sometimes 2:30 if it's a busy day. But he'll be back on tomorrow. All right, we're going to jump back into it with him.
Sounds good.
We're waiting on Colbert's to come back. His results are still not back. And Abel's
He
on
did take it
Zoom.
though, right?
He did take it.
Well, this says,
On his wife's laptop.
okay, that's why, because I'm scared to.
I'll probably.
No, you're good, yours.
I'm good. So good, girl.
There's always someone that's unhappy, you know? That's the nature of the game.
It's just the room of happiness, Your Honor.
Well, I mean, we really try to make people happy, you know? But if you're gonna be a danger to the outside, then we don't have a place for it. We're not gonna stand for it, you know?
Those of us that live on the straight and narrow and don't have to make excuses for our idiocy and bad choices. We enjoy that you put the hammer down on these
And
fools.
I get a lot of complaints. Like, I get a lot of complaints, and I'm telling you, probably 10, 15, maybe a day.
I don't know.
People reach out to me like through Facebook and other social media, just cursing, yelling. I must have gotten beat up as a kid.
Oh, I saw that one. I saw that one.
So much. And it's all one age, right?
25 to 35?
It's probably a little bit younger, but it's usually around a certain age, you know, and they all get super upset, right? And I don't know if they're been in trouble, if they're in trouble. So I don't know anything about them. The only thing that I know is the constant is their age. And it's the younger ones that really get upset about it. And the older generation, you know, they treat it differently. They see perhaps these kids when they grow a little bit older and they a little bit wiser, perhaps, I don't know. But you can't be all things to all people, right? Invariably, someone's always going to be upset. And, you know, now I have people upset with me through the YouTube. And so that's why, like,
Well, that's obviously, and I'm surprised you kept it on for that long. Simpson shut his down and said that was enough of that nonsense. And
he doesn't do YouTube?
he does YouTube, but no live chat. And Middleton only does the first 10 minutes until the first thing comes up on his docket. Then he shuts down the chat because he knows he's going to get.
Oh, well, I'm talking about YouTube in general.
Oh,
Right. And then I have,
what's that alternative channel that's got your name on it? It's like,
so this one, we do the Zoom through here and I live stream it so people can still see it, right? But I'm not putting it, so to speak, on YouTube. And I don't know,
there's one called Victoria's Courtroom Chat or something.
Just so everyone's clear, it's called Victoria's Court Watch. There you go, Victoria. Gave you a shout out there.
You?
No, it's not me.
I didn't think so. And I was like, this girl's got too many brains to do something as
and
silly
then,
as that.
well, I don't know about that.
Hey,
Oh,
but- and then, yeah, all these things pop up all the time. And we try to quell it here and there.
No, that's
Um,
I've been asked if that's my channel. I say, no, it's not. If a person asked me if they could do it, I told them no, and they did it anyway.
Theoretically, you could shut it down. You know, you could, sure.
Well, let's shut her down.
I would.
You know, because you can go in and do some kind of, you know, I think that there's a way to do it, you know. But, you know, I do it so that everybody could see. And I didn't know that it would be such an issue.
It's extremely educational, sir.
Well, but not everybody sees it like
You
that.
get the doxers and the trolls and that sort of thing, but the vast majority of people are incredibly liking what you
And that's
do.
what I was hoping, you know, and we've had several teachers reach out to us that they've shown it in the classroom, that other children watch it, but, you know,
Should be a mandatory high school class, you know? You have to watch
Yep,
the
absolutely.
choices these people have made that have led to the ramifications of just a destruction in the future. So,
great.
pardon me?
It would be great. You know, show the 17, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, this is what happens when you make these kind of decisions.
Especially the DUIs. When you said that this, you know, was the worst large city in the country with DUI fatalities, that was like a shocker to me. I mean, I wouldn't think, but there's a lot of DUIs in here.
You gotta remember though, we have a huge city. I mean, what do we have? 4 million, 3.5, 4 million people. So of course there's always going to be some kind. Thank you.
I know you have other things to do, sir, and I wish you a good day. Thank you very much for letting me.
So what's going on with you? You're going to be here today. You're going to be over tomorrow.
Sir, yes, and then leave Wednesday and go back to.
So what are you guys doing tomorrow evening?
I have to take Kathy back to the airport at 6 o'clock approximately, get her, but she's flying tomorrow evening. She's only in here for the day.
Oh,
Where have you been? That's what we're talking about last time. We all can do a court lunch.
oh, we're going to do it here. We're going to go out.
Well, she wants steak, so.
Okay,
going
let's go out tomorrow.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Let's go out. We'll meet up.
Are there any Mexican restaurants in the area?
Where do you live, man?
Didn't want
Or where
Tex-Mex.
are you? She don't want Mexican.
Barbecue. Come on, barbecue. We got to do barbecue. Come on.
She said she didn't want Tex-Mex.
No, she wants authentic Mexican barbecue.
And
Yeah.
this morning, her live stream, she
It's
said,
Joe.
she didn't want Tex-Mex this morning. But you know, we'll see what she says
Look,
tomorrow.
I mean, I don't care. Wherever. I'm happy with wherever.
Yeah.
I have to-
We'll have to find somewhere local because if she's just flying in and flying right back out, traffic to get back to the airport.
The traffic here is atrocious. I've driven through Boston, lived in LA for 20 years, and I'm telling
Oh,
you.
no, ours is, I mean, LA's got to be worse than ours, right?
It might be now. I know that Boston has been considered the worst of all of them, but you guys are running a close second or third for sure.
It's awful. But the problem is that they take 3 years to repair something. So by the time they're done with the repairs are obsolete. They need to fix it again, because every time they repair something, they add 1 lane, right? And then they're done. You needed another 3 lanes.
London's just pretty much shut down their inner city driving. You have to pay an extra toll just to come into town.
Criminal.
It is. Mhm.
And we'll see you tomorrow, sir. Thank you
I
very
mean,
much.
Annie, yeah, I got to get going too. I have a
Hey, thanks everybody again for coming out. We got a good little crowd. We've got ATX Alley here. Me and her are doing a show called Court Addict. We're coming at it from a couple different angles. I have a kid that's got addiction problems, and I hate it for him, but I'm trying to learn how to deal with it. And Allie's she's got a history. I'll just say that she's got a history.
I've got a story.
And so we watch this court stuff, and it's entertaining. It's entertaining to us all, but there's also education to be had from it. There's education to be had from some of the stories that go through there, because way too many families are dealing with this stuff, or else there wouldn't be any courts. Judge Fleischer has tons of job security. There's never a day Victoria or Ramona can call out and not be needed. There's plenty of stuff for them to do. Hey, there's my buddy Gina. Hey, Gina, how are you? I got Gina and Nan, and we got everybody tonight. We got a good show going.
So many people here. Thank you so much for coming out. Yeah, so we just want to, I just want to address like the stigma part of it. Not necessarily the stigma, but information. And information is the best way to dispel stigmas. And not everybody has the right information. They just see addict, think addict, and that's all they know. And there's a lot of nuances to it and information that people don't know. For example, I had a conversation with my friend earlier today, and she didn't know that my addiction didn't start till I was like 32. She had no idea that I was that old. Like, because I think everybody kind of thinks of a standard addict as a young kid who's experimenting with drugs and then does it too many times and then gets addicted. And that's not at all how it happened. I was on pain meds my entire adolescent and adult life and didn't have a problem with addiction until I was 32. So I think that was a great point for her to bring up to me, that I didn't even realize people kind of thought too, that yeah, it's young people, and it's not always young people. Addicts can start at any age for a lot of different reasons. So I wanted to say that.
So look there, Kathy bragging to us. I'm so sorry, I have to got to head to the airport.
Yes, go get some sleep, Kathy. I'll see you in the morning.
Kathy, you know everybody's gonna be texting you at 4 or 5 in the morning wanting to know where your live stream is. That'll be the one day I wake up on time for a live stream. Well,
Right.
let's go jump into some court. That's why we're all here. Thank you so much,
Yeah, let's
Thurman,
watch
for
some
going
court.
in and showing off for us. We got to live through you for a moment. We got Judge Rosie Gonzalez in San Antonio giving someone hell. And that's always fun for me. So let's go there.
Have you consented? Have you given your attorney, Ms. Portillo, and this court permission to go forward with your
No, you're fine. Sorry, that was
proceeding
my
via video
my
conference,
knee.
also known as a Zoom app?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sanchez. Please sit back and stand by. We'll be back to talk to you, okay? Let's have the announcements from the attorneys for and on the record, please.
Jordan Sims for the state of Texas.
Pauline Portillo for Mr. Rosendo Sanchez. And Judge, I do have a potential witness and family member that was in another breakout room. I got her name. Right. I just don't think she knows how to come back into the main room. If we could somehow pull her back when the court has a chance.
Okay, we will. We'll bring her back in. Now, Ms. Portillo filed 3 motions for you, Mr. Sanchez. It's a motion to set bond on each of these cases. So I'm going to hear from Ms. Portillo first because she's the one asking the court to approach and to grant her motions. Once we hear from your lawyer, Mr. Sanchez, the court must allow equal access to the court from the state. So Mr. Sims may have something to add or inform the court of. Once I hear from everyone, Mr. Sanchez, and your attorney may call a witness as well. Once I hear from everyone, then the court will decide whether it's appropriate to grant 1, 2, or all 3 of your motions. It may not be appropriate, but I got to hear the evidence, Mr. Sanchez, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay? Ms. Portillo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Judge. So Mr. Sanchez is
Is that
currently.
Ms. Sanchez that came on? She needs to be out until you call her, Ms. Portillo. Who brought her?
Sure.
I don't know who brought her. Yeah, whoever brought her in, she needs to stay out till, thank you.
Okay, there she
All
goes.
right.
Okay. So Mr. Sanchez is remanded without bond on all 3 of these cases, Your Honor. It's an MTR case. He was placed on probation in your court about a year ago, and he's actually been doing just fine until a new offense was alleged that he was arrested on. It's a harassment case with one of the complainants from his probation case. That is in County Court 13, Impact Court. And he has a bond set on that. It's at $10,000. So I'm asking the court to set a bond on his MTR cases to give him the opportunity to bond out, because the MTRs really, the only thing that's alleged is this new number 1. And then along with that is the allegation that he had contact with the alleged complainant who also produced the new number 1. And so if you look at the original MTR, that's basically what it focuses on. Now there's a supplemental MTR that was filed about 3 days ago, not by his original probation officer, but by somebody else, alleging that he had not done BIP or completed BIP or worked towards completing BIP, and that he had a positive marijuana sample back in January. I have talked to his probation officer, who said that he has started the BIP program and he's actually almost done with it. She really hasn't had any issues with him at all. And his sample given in July was clean. So really, Your Honor, what we're just looking at is this new case. I did confer with Mr. Sims prior to today, asking if he would not oppose a $2,500 bond on each MTR. He said he was in agreement, Your Honor. So that's what we're asking from the court. And that's what, from talking to the family, I understand Mr. Sanchez can afford. And so if the court is not inclined to set bond at that amount, then I probably do need to take testimony from Ms. Sanchez regarding the family's financials to give the court a full picture of what we're dealing with here.
Are you retained or are you appointed, Ms. Portillo?
I am retained, Your Honor.
And state you're okay with the 2,500 until we hear his MTR?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes, Marie.
can I give you some information?
You have to announce because you didn't announce and this was not an MTR.
I understand that, Your Honor, but this is Marie Martinez for probation. I'm the
Yes,
one that did the supplemental MTR, Your Honor. There's some
Okay.
issues with this case, and the defendant was supposed to be on GPS. He has never been on GPS for probation. He was never referred to GPS. You ordered GPS. Also, he just registered for BIP. He was supposed to register within 30 days. He was placed on probation in
Pause it for a
October.
second. So I see you guys asking what the BIPP course is. It's a batterer's intervention course that's offered here in Texas for people that are involved with domestic violence. They usually make them take this course as part of probation. So that's what that is. It's I don't think it's nationwide. I think each state has their own version. Excuse me, their own version of it. But it's called the batterer intervention classes. Is basically what it stands for. But that's what that is. Just to answer your question. Oh, and Gina, with the 10% of the bond amount, that's another thing. That is kind of a misnomer. It's different in every state and every municipality, but in the instance that you need to get a bail bondsman, 10% is the floor. That's the bare minimum you're going to pay. It is not just 10% and you're out when you're dealing with the bondsman. They can charge you whatever. So they usually charge 10% as a floor, and then it goes up from there. If you have a previous felony, if you have a previous failure to appear, it goes up exponentially from there. So yeah, it's not always 100%, 10% all the time. That's usually the floor. So just little pieces of information.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, like in Florida, if they get the 10%, you go and pay somebody 10%, you show up for court, they keep that 10%. That was just the cost of doing business. Whereas
Yeah,
if
you don't get that back.
Right. Whereas if you pay the full amount, like let's say you pay the court the $1,000 for $1,000 bond, if you show up for court, that money's still yours. They'll normally take out the fees and all that other court costs out of it before they give you back what's left of you. But in the end, it's just cheaper not to get in trouble. It's cheaper not to get in trouble. And if you do get in trouble, a lawyer is your best friend. And
no, Victoria, I'm not speaking from experience. I did Google that.
Yep, absolutely. No, I don't. I'm sure Allie's paid bail before, but I don't think she's been in BIP class before.
No, not yet. He gets out of line though. You never know.
Okay, all right. Hey, Victoria posted Linus's link. Linus has a video. I've got to make sure it's edited. I got to make sure it looks right. I got to make sure it's not, really distorted on the screen before we can show it. But Linus is trying to get to Houston. She wants to come visit the judge. She wants to come and see what the U.S. has to offer. And so get her to Houston. Put it this way, if we get her to Houston, we don't have to talk about it anymore. We did great. We got it up to, I think we got it up to 1650 England money, and we just got to get up to 2500 England money, and we should be good. And
Nan, the judge is the one who says whether they'll accept a 10% bond, but it's I guess it depends on how they word it. They say $1,000 or surety, which means a bonding agency has to put up that amount, and then usually it's 10%. So it kind of depends on where you're at. Some places you can just pay 10% to the court. Just depends. It's not that way here in Texas, though. You have to. The bond is set by the judge, and then it's 10% of whatever that is what the bonding company will accept for them to say, okay, we'll put that amount of money up for you to get out of jail. So that's how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael's talking about wanting to get to Houston. Michael, let's set it up. Let's go into Houston like maybe February or March. I don't want to wait until summer, but it'd be neat in the spring sometime to go to Houston. So we may have to do that. I think Linus is trying for November. We're trying to get her some money up to go. And we're not good at this online fundraising, so we're going to be discreet about it and just do what we can. And she'll have to figure it out. She may get over here and not make it home, but that's not my problem. And so, all right, let's get back to this one.
You just registered for BIP with Optimal. And I also wanted to inform the court that the witness is also on probation. The witness for Ms. Portillo is also on probation, the mother of his child. And on September 30th, he was arrested at the probation department for 4 warrants, and he told his probation officer that if released, he would leave to Mexico. I have it in her notes, and I just read it.
Ms. Portillo, do you want to address that statement allegedly made by Mr. Sanchez?
Sure can, Judge. So I wasn't there, so I can't really say for a fact whether or not that was said, but
Well,
I
I'm
will.
going to say
I will-
something to you, Ms. Portillo. They're officers of the court, and unless you can give me a reason to not believe what that officer is conveying to the court, I'm going to believe it. That's why I'm
Yeah, of course.
asking for some
A-
comment.
Sure, and I'm not saying to disbelieve that at all, Your Honor. But Mr. Sanchez, he is a father of 4 minor children, all of which reside here in San Antonio. I will go ahead and give some limited information. I do represent him on a custody matter here as well, where he is pursuing full custody of those children who are under the custody of Miss Sanchez's mother currently. And so I really do not feel that he really meant that comment, if such was said, because he has so much to lose here in San Antonio. He really cares about his children. He's a provider for them. He's always resided in San Antonio. And given that his family can't even afford anything more than a $2,500 bond on each case, I don't believe he has the means to go there. So at this
Would you
point,
agree that that
feel-
money would be better spent on feeding those kids than taking care of him for not, allegedly complying with his probation?
Of course, Judge, but I will also add that the probation officer said he had provided proof of employment. He's working hard to provide for these children, and he may have made some mistakes in the past. But at this point, he's really trying to better himself. He has a new apartment. He's making space for these children. He's working with the family and people who love these children to really come to a better family unit for these children. And so with that investment in mind, and what he's pursuing, I really do not feel that he's going to be engaged in any further crime, that including leaving the country or bail jumping, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Sims, I want to know from the state exactly what Mr. Sanchez's pending charges are. And what you've agreed to a $2,500 bond on each case. I have that. But I want to know, I need more information as to whether I'm going to approve that agreement or what else I'm going to do with this gentleman. I'm very concerned about the statement he made to probation. Go ahead, Mr. Sims.
Yes, Your Honor. His pending case is a harassment charge. And I would like to note that I conferred with defense counsel prior to knowing about his statements. And now being aware of that information, I would defer to the court on this matter.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Sanchez, more recently, a term has been used, but it pretty much translates into, I didn't just fall off a turnip truck. I just didn't fall out of a coconut tree, Mr. Sanchez, into
I love it.
a space where I don't know what's going on. I practiced family law and child welfare law for almost 17 years. I was board certified, representing children out of families like yours, representing relatives like the ones that are taking care of your kids right now. And I'm not going to have you duplicate your behavior with your kids and imprint them with behavior that's led you to be before me now, with behavior that led to this motion to revoke to be filed. Your second chance was probation, Mr. Sanchez. And you're in here asking for a third, fourth, and fifth chance. No, I'm not going to hear from you. Keep your finger down. And I'm not going to hear from your witness. You've got a darn good attorney, and your behavior is compromising your case. She can't help the alleged facts in this case because you came to her with that. She's professional, she's competent, she's ethical, and she knows what she's telling you. I was all of that as a lawyer, but I would lose my cases because of the behavior that my clients would engage in. She can be the best lawyer in town, and she's not going to be able to help you get your kids. Because if I was a judge on the civil side looking at your history, I wouldn't give you your kids. Put them at risk with someone like you and your history. So maybe you ought to kiss away those pipe dreams of taking care of your kids until you clean up your criminal matters. And then a judge can seriously look at you for placement. All three motions are denied today. Go think about what you've been doing, Mr. Sanchez. I remanded you without bond because you were already on probation for family violence. And then you go and you get charged with another family violence offense. Maybe it's because you didn't sign up for BIP and don't know what you're doing. You're going to wait and we're going to hear your motion to revoke matter in the very near future, but I'm not releasing you today. Maybe that ought to teach you what to say and not say, not to mouth off to officers that you're going to split to Mexico. Because you know what, Mr. Sanchez? I believe them and I believe you. Because there's a saying, when somebody shows you who they are, the first time, believe them. Don't wait for them to try and clean up what they screwed up a week or two ago by acting their true selves and expressing their true feelings. So no, I'm not going to allow you the latitude to cut that monitor off and leave to Mexico. Someone's taking care of your kids now. They can continue to take care of them. That's it. We're done. Everyone is excused.
I completely the combine compadre class.
I told you not to say anything, so that just tells me you're not going to do what I tell you to do. You just proved me right, Mr. Sanchez. Yeah. Go ahead and mute him.
Well, how about that?
Wow.
Yep. Robert saying it just got interesting. Absolutely. As soon as Dina, domestic violence, he's a mess, and he's talking about cutting off his monitor and running to Mexico, and it's a mess. It's a mess. And you know, I love Judge Rosie, and I think she's trying to get through to him, but you know, right there at the end, she realized that nothing's going to get through to him. Nothing's going to get through to him. I'm going to jump over to a Judge Simpson one, but I think it's Judge Middleton. I'm almost certain it's Judge Middleton. I may have just labeled it wrong. So how about this? We'll just see whatever's up there. We'll go for it.
I bet she's a model employee.
Ms. Caldwell is very anxious and nervous today. She's really concerned about how this is going to affect her job. And she understands that your court proceedings are broadcast to the public, and she is worried about repercussions.
Well, I don't think it's going to be anything too terrible, Ms. Caldwell, but you were out of control. This is the time and date for sentencing in this matter, which started as a resisting, obstructing, and an operating while intoxicated. The prosecutor reduced the R&O to a misdemeanor, attempted R&O, and the operating while intoxicated to impaired driving. I've known Ms. Caldwell for many years. I hadn't seen her for a while. She has a temper, and it got out of hand here. She had a different perception of things, certainly the police did. But she gave a lot of thought to whether she wanted to enter this plea or not, and then she did. I asked for some help, and Matt Huff from the probation department has prepared a pre-sentence report, because frankly, I didn't know what to do here. Matt has a pretty good recommendation. The report, the videos, they're unpleasant. So, Mr. Bush, what would you like me to know?
Mr. Huff put the time and labor into the report that's obvious. Without repeating, I guess the one thing that I point out is the last involvement with the criminal justice system is March 16th of 2015. So she's done really well. The job that she has, she's very proud of that. From the first day I met her, she's talked about that, and I think she realizes that could be her career job, that she could run this the rest of the way and do
Which
it
is
well.
Part of why I think I haven't seen her in years. She's just been working a good job. But I think I'm proud of her too for that.
I'm glad to hear that she wants to do probation. I suggest to the court that probably anger management, she would do well with that. She can make some better decisions. You don't get a hall pass on your birthday, but this was a day that she was celebrating, and it would have worked out well if she would have had a designated driver that day. She may have had a headache the next day, but we would have been fine. But it didn't turn out that way. I would ask the court to consider probation and hold her jail incarceration over her head to ensure that she follows through with the terms and conditions of the probation. Thank you.
Ms. Caldwell, what would you like me to know?
That I do regret that night my actions totally. Because that is not who I am today, and that's not who I was that day. I can't say that alcohol played a major role in it. I feel like I've grown a lot. Like you said, I've been holding my job down. I feel like God has something in store for me, and I don't want to go to jail because not only because I don't want to go, but one of my stepchildren that I raised just texted me the other day, and she wants to come back and live with me for a change from
Now,
Illinois.
that was a strange situation because you and Mr. Caldwell were married. He left and he left his kids with you, I think, for some of that time. Is that true?
Yes.
And those girls were not very old. How big were they at that time?
10 and 12.
And how long did you have them?
Well, I actually was a part of their lives from when they was 3 and 4.
But I mean, after you guys got divorced, how much longer did you have the girls after that?
They ended up going where their mom was released, and they went to stay with her for a while. But during that, she lost her sister, and I guess it's a lot of stuff that she don't want to be around. So she just texted me yesterday and asked if she could come back this way and stay with me, and if I could help her find a job. So she's taking the necessary steps to apply and put my name down as a reference.
Well, okay. Let's talk about a couple things. Mr. Bush indicated it was your birthday, but you were drunk and you don't get a free pass on your birthday. And you were mad that he was doing his job. He saw you at the main 4. He was parked in the car repair place, Lynn's Garage, and he followed you all the way down Michigan Avenue, down Millard, and down Constantine Street and Millard. That's a lot of blocks. It's, I don't know, 20 blocks? I'm not sure. Your driving wasn't good, and the police can see a drunk driver. You're going real slow. Your car had beer bottles in it. You were close. You could like see your house from there. And I know what you were doing. You wanted to just get your car and park it. But then it all went haywire. And as Matt says in the report, at the time of the actual driving, you were probably about 2 times the legal limit. And I don't think any of this would have happened if alcohol hadn't been in the equation. But police have a tough job. When I was prosecutor, people were more yes officer, no officer. They were respectful. People are much less respectful of police today than they were when I was the prosecutor.
Yo, and may I say something?
Yeah, but let me finish my thought.
Okay.
I've commented on this recently, that in the African American community in this day and age, they have a different view of police, and so do a lot of other people, because of things that have happened historically and more recently. I said there are millions and millions of police stops, but some of them, very small percentage of them, are bad. And so we're in that climate. But it doesn't give you a right to bite him.
I did
and kick him. You can see her bite him on the video, correct?
No.
It was her birthday. She gets to bite him on her birthday, right?
On the biting.
Okay.
There's obviously evidence on.
It seems like she should be able to bite on birthday.
That seems only fair to me.
What I like about Judge Middleton is he's able to go through her entire criminal history by memory. Doesn't have to look at the paper.
Because he knows her. He probably was there at her birth. He knows the doctor that gave birth to her. I know. Yeah.
Yep. He's talking
He knows
about
everybody. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing how much he knows. I think that's the town I want to go visit. I'd love to visit him before he gets out of there, before he retires.
Right.
He won't do any interviews or anything. I've tried. He did one with drummer Troy, and it was a really, really good interview. Jen Hardy, she tried to do an interview with him, and he politely told her, no, not, just he don't want that drama. And so, he's riding it out. He's just got a little bit left to go. So, all right, let's finish this one up. It's got just a few more minutes left.
On the kicking front.
All right. Well, then go ahead, Ethel.
Yeah, and I would first like to say I don't have a problem with enforcement at all. I do have a problem with the way I'm being treated. In 2003, when I had to turn myself in, I was on a probation. I think Alice was my probation officer. I was running late for court, and I called, and from this day, I now remember to ask for the clerk's name, but I didn't know her name. And she told me to call your probation officer, and she'll tell you what to do further. Well, I contacted Alice. She told me to turn myself in. I turned myself in that night, and Sergeant Heath was not having a good day. I was assaulted for walking backwards, telling somebody else not to argue with him. And that was the first felony case for this assaulting an officer, because he threw me into the wall and then he choked me and I bit him. And so that's why I feel like, I felt as if Officer Britton had done some type of research or whatever, because he said, stop biting me or stop trying to bite me. And I knew that was a bunch of BS, because I learned from that day, and I didn't hesitate to walk out of there. He just wanted to raise my arms to hurt them further, because he had been doing it throughout that night. And that's what had me angry, that he was trying to hurt me for no reason. I've never had a resistance from an officer. I never responded in any type of way of me ever being arrested. So I didn't get that. Like, I didn't understand. And that's what made me angry, that he would treat me that way, knowing I was under the influence.
Well, as I indicated, people have a different view of it. Depends on one thing if you're the officer, another thing you're the defendant. There's millions of videos out there of people. There's a lot of them of entitled white ladies that commonly referred to as Karens, who are very disrespectful to the police. And they've got a tough job. Now, also, you've been smoking marijuana.
Yes, sir.
It's legal to smoke marijuana. It's unclear, really unclear, what driving under marijuana status is right now, but combination of this wasn't good. You got this good job. We don't want you to lose your job. But you had those cases that you were on probation. One of them, you stabbed somebody with a pair of scissors or something. I think that was the one you were on probation for, because you tend to lose your temper.
Actually, I was, who was it? Her name was Tracy Washington at the time, before she got married.
Mm-hmm.
Kim and I had a fight at the South Main gas station. And I want to say, like, a couple of days later, like, she had put a restraining order on me. And I walked down to Melissa Taylor's house, which, when I lived on 6th Ave, and she lived on one end, I lived on the other, to get scissors. I was going to do my mother's hair with extensions. And Melissa, I didn't find this out till after the fact. She called them and told them that I was coming. So they came like they was going to try to jump me, like my back was against her door. And it was 3 of them, Tracy, Kim, and her sister Quanah. And Quanta tried to act like she gonna try to snatch me down from the door, so I just came down swinging.
Well, that was some ancient history. Then there was one with a knitting needle or something.
I don't know nothing about no knitting needle.
Maybe I got that one mixed up. I get a little foggy on stuff that happened 25 or 30 years ago. But the point that your lawyer made is you haven't been in any trouble in a number of years. And you got a job, and that's all a plus. All right. Matt, which case do you want me to do the probation in?
I didn't realize there were two separate files. I knew there was two charges.
Well, there's two charges, so
I mean,
I'm gonna do it in the.
I mean, if we're doing an anger management, I would.
Yeah, I'd do
would
it
say
in that
is it
case.
Attempted R&O.
All right, on the operating while impaired charge, give you a 1 day jail credit, 1 day. 0 fine. You'll be the only person this year that got that. And I'm gonna do it concurrent with the attempted R&O. Mr. Huff, is there anything else you wish to add?
I mean, I would just emphasize that your criminal history obviously dated. So there's some hope, I think, here for a positive probation completion, despite the fact that we don't see that on paper. I'm hopeful that I think that she turned the corner from who she used to be. I think it's evident in her letter that she wrote a court.
Yeah, I
a
liked
nice
it.
letter, and I think
Well,
it's worth referencing that.
Ethel, you haven't turned into a different person. You weren't a bad person to start with. You've grown up. It isn't like you were some terrible person and now you're not. You're the same person you always were, but you're more mature. And you always had your version on your side of the story, and I guess it depends on which side you're looking at it from. So we're going to do the probation in this case. It's going to be a 12-month probation, and you are going to do the anger management class. And you're not going to use any drugs or alcohol, which is going to be hard. You're going to end up saving money. Did you lose your driver's license because of the business with the breath tests?
I lost it because he said I refused to blow.
Yes. Well, this would have let you had a suspended license. Your friend is here and he's been taking you to work and then you get a ride home. What shift are you on?
Second.
Are you working weekends and that sort of thing?
Yes, sir.
And overtime?
Yes, sir.
Good for you. You got bills to pay. Overtime's nice when you got to pay the bills, not so nice when you'd like to have a Saturday off, I suppose. But second shift on Saturday is rough. All right, and this one, $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, probation oversight fee of $480. You need to pay for the class. I think I have $1,000.
Was it a surety bond or was it?
Yeah, so I think we have $100, Your Honor, and then yeah.
They mark it in yellow, so I'll see that I notice it. On posted. Yeah, it was $1,000, 10%. Applied return balance 0. We gave you your money back. You got some stability going on. You got a job, you got an apartment, you got friends. I don't want to screw that up, but you're going to get a timeout. She had been a good probationer in the past. I think that adds up to, that can't be right. Let me add it again. 75, 50. 75, 150. It's 350 plus 480. It could be done in less than that. That's 830. And you're to pay for the anger management class. I'm gonna follow Mr. Bush's recommendation. I'm gonna alter it a little bit. I'm gonna order 10 days jail credit 1. And of the 10 days, 9 are deferred. I'm gonna hang some jail over your head. See if you do what's asked of you, but not impose any additional jail.
Your Honor, can you point me in the right direction to get my license back?
Well, I wish I could. Your problem is not with the court, it's with the driver license appeal division.
They gave me a letter in the mail. Well, I received a letter that was dated for the 3rd, but I didn't receive it until the 8th. And I faxed over the request for the hearing on the 9th.
Okay, so you've asked for a hearing already?
Yeah, and then she said, because I didn't comply within 14 days, I complied before the 14 days. But she said I could write a letter or bring it to the courts.
Well, will you look into that?
Yeah, certainly.
My preference would be that you had a restricted driver's license. That's what an impaired does.
I'm okay with that, as long as I can get to these classes and to work.
But the stuff the Secretary of State does is outside of my authority. And I tell everybody, take the test.
I did, Your Honor, because I was in here when my brother was in here. That was the time you saw me before I had to come for me. So there was no way I was refusing that.
Well, again, I wasn't there. They wrote it so that you have a right to appeal it and say, hey, I wasn't. But they weren't getting sufficient samples. All right. Marijuana is going to be an issue because you can't smoke weed while you're on this. And I think that's going to be the hardest part of this whole thing.
It's not an addiction.
All right, well, good. All right, I want you to go downstairs with Mr. Huff and he'll get you plugged into this. Like I said, she'd been a model probationer in the past for Alice. I think about Alice and Bob and Henry and those guys that used to be here in the past.
Where is that?
What?
Where is that?
She's in Oregon. They've all retired.
Oregon. It's not Oregon.
I'm still here.
Come on.
All right, let me give you that, Matt. All right, Ms. Caldwell.
Thank you,
I
Your
hope
Honor.
this goes well.
All right, I got a handful of things. One, thank you for the dad jokes. It's good to see those. Two, someone had something here. I'm looking back through the messages. The knitting needle. This lady just loves to raise hell. And he knows if he puts her in jail for 6 months, she's just gonna come out raising hell again. So he might as well just put her on probation and see her again in 3 or 4 months.
Right. I don't knit, but I do crochet, and they're not quite as stabby as knitting needles. But yeah, that's pretty extra. You gotta be really mad at somebody to go after them with a knitting needle. Damn.
Yeah, one day and another day. I got a good story. We used to work on an ambulance, and a guy decided to unalive his family, and the mother, protecting her children, got him in the side of the head with the crochet needle.
Wow.
And so I was an EMT. I was new at it, and I got to learn how to do different types of IVs.
Uh-huh.
And so the paramedic that I was working with, he's like, "Hey, this guy right here is a good candidate. Let's learn some stuff on him."
Oh my God! No distracting. It's not distracting. Just don't pay attention to the thing that's sticking out of his head.
Oh, in the end, we were more worried. In the end, we were worried about the children and the wife. You can't. You've got to treat all patients. You got to treat all patients with care. But in the end, his wife and kids was the problem there. That was the one that needed help. So, but hey, everybody, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out. We had to do a little bit of changing tonight because Jen Hardy's doing a live. We'll come back tomorrow night with an actual court.
Well, maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow night because I'll be in Houston. I don't know if I'll be home in time, but
okay.
So it might be Wednesday, guys.
Okay, so you see, Allie's backing out already. So
No, I'm gonna be in court. It's not my fault. Blame Victoria. It's her fault.
Well, so she's going to be in
Victoria
court.
and Kathy.
Judge Fleischer's going to be streaming. We're going to get to see Kathy and Allie, and I'm sure we're going to get to see Donald again. And is anyone, who else is supposed to be there?
I thought that was it, but I don't
Okay.
know. Whoever
Well,
is in the Houston area, come.
Yeah, let's see if a few more people come on in. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to redirect over to Jen Hardy. She's got an interview going tonight, and I'm always going to support her. So we're going to go over there. Thank you guys so much. We'll see y'all tomorrow night with a I guess we'll see a follow-up show from after the court from tomorrow. Remember, Judge Fleischer's on his regular channel tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.